fluid dynamics. So let us talk how this CFD help us to diagnosis heat transfer and flow behavior in a micro channels, and how the cooling technology help us in different defense sector, radar sectors, gas turbine cooling in the aerospace department. So my topic will be microfluidics flow cooling technology using the computational fluid dynamics. Again, I welcome you all in this session. So this session will start with introduction of this microflow, the review of this microfluidics in past, how many people work on this microchannel flow cooling technology. Then how this problem is defined through flow through microchannel, and how this cooling technology help us to improve the performance of the gas turbine aerospace engineering, and how this cooling technology help us to increase the life of the electronics component in radar application and the defense sector. So these problems are numerically designed, and it has been tried to solve this problem using this CFD application. So that is why we are focusing on the CFD, the type of geometry, how the geometry is created, how it is meshed, how it is validated, and how to tackle the problem with a study of flow behavior. In this numerical simulation, it has been tried to attain to study the role of property variation in compressible laminar microconvective flow, and here we have tried to study this problem in two different aspects, with entrance effect and without entrance effect. And second part of the problem is the problems which we are facing because of reducing the dimensions, means from macro to micro we are moving. So of course we are increasing the surface area. However, friction factor and pressure drop has an important influence on enhancing the heat transfer. So on one side, we are increasing the heat transfer rate, extracting heat from any PCB, electronics devices. But on the other hand, we are also trying to increase the friction factor in terms pressure drop. So how to tackle these two things at the same time so that economically we can use this technology in the defense sector. So it has been tried to attain the study of friction factor, pressure drop, and shear stress characteristics for both gas and liquid, and followed by some results and conclusion. So you see, if we are talking about the computational fluid dynamics, how it impacts on the society, the industrial problems, you can see a simple example of this car. Few years before, this car was having a very traditional shape, Premier, Padmini, and all types of automobile. But now if you see Skoda and BMW and all types of cars, they are having some different types of shapes in bonnet, and here you can see the cursor. In fact, this type of shape provides a less drag force and more economical and fuel economy. So this is possible with the help of only this computational fluid dynamics, without manufacturing, without going to mold and all type of trial, without spending money. We have option in hand to use many softwares. Using reverse engineering, we design the car. Let us see how is the drag force, how it helps to reduce the opposition force, and how it takes lift, what is the stability, balancing, dynamic balancing. So once we firm on the design, we then launch a product. So because of this application of many softwares, and specifically fluid mechanics application to car using this CFD analysis, we could reach to the highest and perfect economical design in these days. So this is what the beautiful application of this computational fluid dynamics. In complex flow engineering system, like a gas turbine, hydraulic turbine, thermal power station, we can study the flow of steam, flow of fluid in a minimum area with minimum friction, with minimum pressure drop, with enhancing heat transfer coefficient and Nusselt number, more heat transfer. So this type of manufacturing of the turbine generator in thermal power station, this unit of turbine generator coupled with generator, this complex design also we can study before implement in actual industry, in actual thermal power station. You can see here three different types of figures: the bullet train, the sports car, the sports bike. We have such type of design. It is not only look wise. Look is your first aspect. The second aspect is to reduce the drag, reduce the friction, so that less fuel consumption, more power and high speed you can get with the resistance of the flow. This is what the logic behind is, and this is possible only with the application of the study of computational fluid dynamics for such type of vehicles. Another is complex flow engineering system. You can see the wind turbine at this height. So at such a height, you can see the road, and this is what the wind turbine. So at the seashore, what is the velocity of the wind and how much then it impact on the inward blade of this turbine, how it flowed, and what is the then generation of the electricity through this entire unit is, whether it is possible to install at this location or different location. If you see, if you travel from Madurai to Kanyakumari or in Satara in Maharashtra or other parts of Gujarat, you can see installation of this wind type turbine at certain location. That location is not a trend now. That is specifically study of what is the wind flow and then how that wind flow helps us to generate the power with the help of this wind turbine. So this complex engineering system can be studied with the help of computational fluid dynamics. This is what one aerospace application wherein we are trying to study how the aeroplane lifted up and the gas turbine which provide tremendous amount of heat, how this gas turbine gets cooled for economic reason and how the fuel consumption will be minimum, and then providing all types of comfort to the passengers inside the aircraft. So that all study can be possible virtually to study in CFD analysis. So let us start to study how this airplane fly. What are the basic principles of the flight? Essentially, there are four types of aerodynamic forces that act on the aeroplane. This is complete aeroplane. These are the wings and this is complete body along with the cockpit. So we have four types of forces. One is lift, another is drag, third is thrust, and fourth is weight due to gravity, due to entire passenger weight and entire structure of this aeroplane. We have this type of force, gravity. To overcome this gravity, to take a lift, we should have this force, lift. When this lift is higher than gravity, then and then we can fly in the air. Opposition force is called as drag. Whenever we fly in air, we have a tremendous opposition force, flow of opposition, that is drag, and that should be overcome by the thrust. Otherwise, we cannot move at a speed of 900 km per hour. Okay, so that thrust is the power of airplane engine. So this aeroplane engine called as gas turbine that produces a power, and it is called as this thrust force. It is a in forward direction, forward force. It is higher than the drag force. What is drag? Drag is the resistance of air molecule hitting the airplane. That is in opposite direction, backward force. So this is higher than this. Lift is called as upward force. This is created by the particular shape of the wings. That is the aerodynamic shape. and weight is called as downward force because of the entire weight of the structure and passenger. Now, in short, thrust is generated by airplane engine. It is called as propeller or jet. Weight is created by natural force of gravity acting upon airplane. Drag comes from friction as the plane moves through air molecule. Though it's rarefied at a very high altitude, maybe 32,000 feet above the ground level, though it is a air molecule staying apart from each other, it is not a dense like seashore, right? But though there is a drag force, so that comes in friction. So we have to reduce that drag force. The fourth is lift is generated by airplane in the flight and which is possible with the help of wings of the airplane. So in short, thrust must be greater than drag and lift must be greater than weight. So you can see drag opposes thrust, lift opposes weight. Now the thing is how this lifting takes place. So we have a technology called as aerofoil shape, a cross section of a typical airplane wing that will show the top surface to be more curved than a bottom surface. So what happens is this top surface is more curved. The air molecule which is flowing on the above surface, it is having a high velocity compared to this because it has to travel more distance because of this more surface area. So velocity is very, very higher. So pressure is lower. Here pressure is higher. Because of creating pressure difference, the entire structure connected to the entire aeroplane that will get lifted up because of this delta P. Since velocity is higher means pressure is lower, here pressure is higher. So this simple technology is used for the lifting force. Just let me check why these figures are not coming. I will close this presentation and I will again share my presentation. Please give a minute. Yes. Can you see, sir? Marcy, sir? Hello? 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 Sir, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So after this aerospace application, let us come to the automobile. See, you can see this is the inside compartment in the automobile. So this has been designed in such a way that the last person sitting on the back benches, or if it is a lengthy vehicle, maybe 6-seater, 7-seater. So the last person should get the effective cooling from the air condition, so that this air conditioning air which is moving in the entire region, it will be effective. So how that can be studied? So it is application of the CFD. So no hotspot. You can see these are the hotspot. These people are not comfort with this red zone. So it should not happen, and every people should be in this region only, having a 24 degrees centigrade equal temperature in this compartment. This is the inside design. Now, if you see the outside design, so the car moving on the road should face a minimum opposition, minimum drag force without any lifting. There should not be any vibration, and it should be a dynamic balance, even though at a speed of 100 to 140. So that things you have to design virtually when you take a help of the CFD, right? Now, these are some pictures from the biomedical group. We are now studying CFD application. Then slowly we will move to the actual application in the defense and aerospace application. we will focus on then microfluidics. So before we go in detail, let me flavor you how the CFD is applicable in different field. So aerospace is one, automobile is second, so biomedical is this third. You can see this heart pumping the blood in the entire body. These are all the veins that will carry the blood through. This is the network of these veins. So this heart pumps the blood throughout the body, and it supply all the living cells with oxygen and nutrients. And important thing is, when it supply oxygen and nutrient to entire cell, it also carry waste product to the outside. This is the what beauty of this body. And so that by supplying these cells and oxygens and nutrient, it also waste the product, and it maintain the uniform temperature within. And this is possible. What is the temperature, which part is not functioning, that entire study can be carried out by the lasers, by the sensors, by the help of the CFD technology. Another is the lungs provide for the inhalation of air containing oxygen, which is absorbed in the bloodstream, and exhalation of carbon dioxide that has been evolved from the bloodstream. So this study can be possible with the help of these various types of vein. This vein we can treat as a pipe, maybe circular diameter, having a long tube, and the blood is flowing, we consider as a fluid is flowing. Now, what is the flow behavior? How the velocity profile is developed? What are the temperature of these blood clotted? How it reaches to the different parts? That study we are comparing the fluid dynamics and the heat transfer, and thus we are calculating what is the temperature within the body and how this blood flow is taking place. So this is what the application of CFD in biomedical. Then coming to chemical engineering application, these are the reactors, the vessels, wherein different types of chemical reaction taking place. So what are the internal heat generation taking place inside this reactor or chemical vessels? So when you write heat balance equation for such type of vessels, for such type of reactors, you should know what is the heat generation, what type of heat is incoming, what type of heat is outgoing. So without any trial, virtually it is possible by just considering numericals, and you can design very beautifully this reactor, the vessel, so that the temperature of the entire vessel will be stable and it will not be overheated. So you have to check these all the inlets and outlets by considering flow through these pipes, flow through these tubes. So this is one of the application in chemical engineering. This is one more important application in electronics field, which we are going to take this in our study. After this application of CFD, we are going to focus on this electronic study. You can see this is the entire PCB. Trillions number of circuits are there, diodes, Zener diode, triode, amplifiers. These are all circuits, all things are simulated here, assembled here in a very small span, small area. So because of this continuous working, tremendous amount of heat is involved, and that heat should be extracted to the surrounding with the help of either cooling technology or with the help of fan. In laptop and other devices, we have a fan or natural cooling taking place. But in a supercomputer or radar application in defense, so if these fans are not provided, if there is no space for the fans, a very small space available in radar, in satellite, then there is a possibility to cool entire PCB, entire IC with providing of this micro channel cooling technology. So we have to provide this micro channel at a very small place embedded in the silicon, and then we have to cool entire this assembly so that the life of this particular PCB will enhance and it will not deteriorate with respect to time. Because you know, if the temperature of this component will go on increasing, the life will be decreasing. So we want to maintain the temperature, lower the temperature than the critical. So we want to identify the hot spot. We want to check what is the airflow taking place over this pin or over this PCB or this IC circuit. So we have to check what is the flow behavior inside this circuit, inside this PCB, inside each and every component. Now, when we are studying this, we should understand that we have to extract the heat from the substrate. This is a silicon substrate wherein all this PCB and all components are fixed up. We have to extract the heat. So that is called as thermal management. So when you study thermal management, you have to consider flow behavior through number of tubes. When flow taking place from one end to other end, how the flow is taking place in downstream direction, and how the property of the fluid, thermodynamic property of the fluid, means density, first thermodynamic property, second viscosity, third specific heat of the fluid, fourth thermal conductivity of the fluid. So this four property, how it varies and how it helps us to increase the heat transfer coefficient, Nusselt number, and how it affects on pressure drop and friction factor. That is what important study is. Once we design that micro channel cooling technology, then it is possible to use this entire circuit in the radar application or any satellite application or any gas turbine cooling technology. So this is the study flow behavior which helps in this electronics engineering. You can see the micro channel, very small space is available. It's a very low dimension. It's a miniaturization of the component. The dimension of this micro channel is around 10 to the power minus 6 meter. And these are the hot spot. This is one of the hot spot we can identify in CPU. And this hot spot should not be there. It will deteriorate the life of the component, and your entire PC and circuit will get damaged, and your PC or whatever electronics part will not work. So we wanted to overcome this hotspot, and then we have to make such type of cooling arrangement. So traditionally you can do this, but in a small miniaturized component it is not possible. Then you have to make such type of microchannel cooling arrangement. So that study is discussed in this coming research. Then we have fluid structure interaction in civil. So many buildings are coming up, high-rise building in a metro city like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore. Then this MADA or SIDCO or any other authority of that city development plan, they have to check if this building is nearby, if what is the airflow, whether the people residing on this ground floor to top floor, whether they are getting sufficient airflow in cubic meter or not. What is the abstraction held because of this building to this building? So before they go for smart city and all strategic planning, they want to check what is the distance, what is the airflow, whether it is comfort or not. So everything, every airflow and the systematic arrangement is tabulated with the help of this computational fluid dynamics. In a wind tunnel, you can see the number of bars are put, and let us check how is the flow, whether it is comfort for this building or that building. If this building comes in between that building, then what is the sufficient space available in between these two, and what should be the location. So that entire study is possible by the study of this vortex shading and all. So this is what little bit about the fluid structure interaction, mostly used in structural application or civil application. So next is marine engineering. You know the buoyancy force, you know the flotation when it is inside the seashore, this type of boat, and then how the speed is, how it should be submerged, what is the metacentric height, what is the location from the ground, seashore, sea level, and then what should be the size, what should be the space, speed and all. So that can be studied with the help of this fluid dynamics flow, fluid flow behavior. In a power generation like this wind tunnel, wind power, then thermal power station, gas turbine, that already we have seen. So we have a simulation in this power generation loop. Material processing, in a material technology also, we have to check the temperature of the material should not exceed than the critical temperature, and this hotspot should not occur on the material. It will not work in its natural way. So its microstructure will go on changing. So you can see here, these all the microstructures, they will not retain, and the coarser microstructure will be more coarser, and refined microstructure will not be refined because of the high temperature. So the composites which you are using for the aerospace or defense material. So that material, even at a certain temperature, should not change the microstructure. So that is why to study such type of material processing and its microstructure and flow behavior, we have to take a help of this computational fluid dynamics, and that helps a lot. The last application is in sports. Already we have discussed the shape. You can even see the shape, and you can see these people, how this rider is sitting. So it is not his habit. It is because of the technical thing that he face a less drag force, as if when he sit in a straight way. So this way he can use his maximum force in pedaling and going ahead. So similarly, this is true for this motorbike sports and this type of racing cars. So this way, they want to see what is the position, how this hand should be, what is the inclination, how then, what is the speed, how to drive, how to speed. So entire things can be studied before before to participate in the race. So this is what in small the applications in various different field of the engineering. So with this, now we are switching to the application of the microtube in cooling technology using the microtube heat sinks. So microchannel, well known, it's a very small dimensions, maybe of 10 to the power minus 12. Nano means 10 to the power minus 12 millimeter. So these microtubes are useful to carry the heat generated in the silicon substrate, maybe in PCB, maybe in IC, integrated circuit that works in radar, that works in satellite, that works in all other aerospace application. And this microtube also used in the gas turbine to cool the gas turbine surface, so that if the temperature of the gas turbine reduces to certain extent, so it enhances the fuel economy. If it enhances the fuel economy, the tickets, the air tickets can reduces the fuel charges. So this way, it is more economical. So it is possible that in a small surface, we have a very steep temperature gradient. Because of a small surface, small diameter, temperature rise in such a small space is very, very high, steep temperature gradient. But thermal resistance is very, very low. And these microtube are very space efficient, very compact, small, high density, and the high performance micro devices. And mostly these are used where small space is required, more cooling is required, where we require a thermal resistance, low thermal resistance. So most of the engineering application uses this microtube cooling technology. Mostly in biomedical field, it is used. So how to use this microtube heat sink? So that will be elaborated when I will go through the geometry. The important things which we face, that is called the hurdle. Because of the more surface, it has a high friction. And because of this high friction, more pressure drop, more friction, more shear stress at the wall. And that is why high coolant pressure drop is there. And because of this coolant pressure drop, we have to pump coolant more effectively. So effective cooling pump is required. That is called the Knudsen pump. So although we have a more heat transfer, we are cooling the entire circuit, but we have to invest money in this effective micro pump. So we have to tackle both the things at the same time. Now, this is what the research is. On one side, we have to study the pressure drop. One side, we have to increase the heat transfer rate. So in doing this, many researchers in the past with different types of geometry, in different types of experimentation, they found that there is a deviation in the fluid flow and there is a deviation in the heat transfer characteristics when we talk about the microtube heat sink. It is not similar to the macro. Conventionally, if you see the fluid flowing through the big tube, municipal pipeline, your domestic basin, which is coming from the top tank to the bathroom or your wash basin. So that is a normal fluid flow behavior. You need not to worry about the scaling effect, the small effect. But if you talk about the microtubes in microns, so different types of scaling effect, different types of effects we have to consider when you study the fluid flow behavior, and that is what it is called the deviation from the characteristic which occurs in the micro behavior. So that deviation is studied in this coming research. So in short, this present work that investigate the influence of property variation. Here we have studied different types of property variation, and the study is done in single phase laminar forced gas microconvection with two types, with and without entrance effect. So here you can see the study how it vary with respect to conventional theory is studied. This so many authors from 1983 they have been into research, and they tried to analyze what is the friction factor, that is F into RE Poiseuille's number, how it vary with respect to conventional theory. This is the classical theory about friction factor. So some author found that it is higher, it is lower, some found equals. Using different types of cross section, different types of hydraulic diameter. This is in micrometer since it's a micro channel, and they have used different types of test fluid. And at the end, after going through this, they have found that this deviation happens because of this scaling effect. And this scaling effect is now divided into two, called as a rarefaction and non-rarefaction effects. And these rarefaction, non-rarefaction effects, when we study, when the flow taking place through microchannel, then it has got two different effects. One, Nusselt number increases, and because of this friction factor and pressure drop, your heat transfer and other factor got affected. So that study also carried out by a number of researchers. They also found that this Nusselt number, sometime it is increasing, sometime it is decreasing, sometime it is equal. And they have studied with different hydraulic diameter, with different geometry, with different type of test fluid. And the reason they found is because of this small tube, so many factors are considered, and the new effect at a micro level called as axial conduction, viscous dissipation, property variation, compressibility effect, this comes in picture, which otherwise cannot consider in a macro level. So that is what the study is, and that is why this microchannel cooling technology becomes so important and so popular. So you see, if this Nusselt number and friction factor you are studying for this micro level, it is in the microtube, and that is a continuum region. So that variation is given by Knudsen number. Knudsen number, it is a ratio of dH upon lambda, hydraulic diameter upon the free wavelength. And if this Knudsen number tends to 0, we have to solve this entire model numerical simulation using this Euler equation. That is called as continuum region without molecular diffusion. This is what that region is. Then if you study this Knudsen number less than 10 to the power minus 3, here it's a continuum region with molecular diffusion. So we can solve this type of model by applying Navier-Stokes equation with no slip wall boundary condition. Now in between 10 to the power minus 3 to 0.1, this slip flow regime, so it's a continuum transition. You can solve here this equation with the help of Navier-Stokes equation with first order slip boundary condition at the wall. So we can see how this boundary condition applied when we start numerical simulation. Knudsen number lies between 0.1 to 10, this one called as transition regime. So here Burnett equation with higher order slip boundary condition at wall, we can apply moment equation, we can apply DSMC, Monte Carlo equation, Lattice-Boltzmann equation, and the Knudsen number higher than 10, that is called as free molecular flow. So at a very high altitude where these molecules are apart from each other, having some distance, so that is called as free molecular zone. There we have to solve this equation, flow regime equations, using this model called as DSMC, collision-less Boltzmann equation, Lattice-Boltzmann structure. So this is what the Knudsen number range for various types of flow. Now, how this study is carried out, by what motivation this entire study comes in picture. So earlier there were not any property variation considered by these people, but as if after this 1989, in 2004, and then in 2010, and now this property variation is one important factor as a non-rarefaction scaling effect comes in research, in addition to the studied by Sider-Tete and Bradley and Stratton. So what these people did in the beginning, they have used only property ratio method, that is Nusselt number without Nusselt number in conventional way, Nusselt number with constant property. So no property is varying. So all property, thermodynamic property like density, viscosity, thermal conductivity, and Cp, everything remaining constant. And only they try to vary viscosity, mean viscosity, and viscosity at the wall to the power 1 constant. So they studied that only this will influence the heat transfer, but this is not true. So later on, we have this constant wall temperature method. These people use constant wall temperature method. Then Harvig from TUHS Germany, he used this isentropic method. Then we started working in aerospace department of IIT Bombay with Professor Maulikar. He was associated earlier to Professor Harvig in TUHS Germany. Then he found that this NU at asymptotic temperature is varying with respect to this equation. They found this equation. And in the research which is carried by my team with Maulikar sir and Harvig, Professor Harvig, in 2008 to 2010, then we came to know with this new formula, which we derived, that this Nusselt number is the ratio of this heat flux into diameter of any tube divided by conductivity, mean conductivity of the fluid, not the wall. This is the conductivity of the tube in bracket multiplication of the difference of wall temperature of the tube and bulk mean temperature of the fluid. So this way, this Nusselt number go on increasing if this TW minus TM go on decreasing. If this Km go on reducing, this Nusselt number go on increasing. Preferring that Q double prime W, that is heat flux at wall, remain constant. And this is the diameter of the channel or microtube. This remain constant. So with this motivation, we have come up with this formula, and with the objective of the investigation was the role of this, to study the role of Cp and density. This specific heat, which is a function of temperature, and density is a function of temperature. Basically, what happens is, in water, this density is a function of only temperature. But if you see compressible flow and the compressible fluid like air, so this density is a function of both temperature and pressure. But density with respect to pressure, that is SROP, sensitivity of density with respect to pressure, and sensitivity of density with respect to temperature, that is SROT. So SROT is always higher than SROP. The effect of density temperature dependent is very, very high compared to SROP. So that is why we try to understand what is the role of this ROT and CPT with and without entrance effect. Let us study this, and what is the effect on friction and pressure drop of the liquid and gas. So with this objective, then we started this investigation, and we try to follow this CFD gambit fluent, making geometry in the gambit, because to go for actual experimentation, it was very costly. So we tried to find that let us go for numerical simulation, let us check what are the values, how it affect on the Nusselt number, pressure drop, and then friction, see how these micro devices can be designed effectively so that it can be used in an economical way for various types of applications in radar, defense, and aerospace. So basically here we are using this incompressible flow, so that this Mach number is less than 0.3. Means even at a high Reynolds number, with this high Knudsen number value, we have this incompressible flow. So incompressible flow means sensitivity of density with respect to pressure you cannot ignore. You have to consider SROP as well as SROT. So this is not the case with liquid. But in air, being a compressible fluid or compressible flow, we have to consider this region only. So we are considering Mach number less than 0.3 and incompressible flow. So here you can see we are studying this subsonic flow, wherein this Mach number less than 1 we call it the incompressible flow, where this velocity of sound is higher than the value of the c. That is, change in velocity of sound, that is called as sonic velocity, is very small compared to velocity of the object, that is stream velocity. So variation in density versus Mach number. So this is what the Mach number value and variation in density. You can see here variation in density with respect to variation in the Mach number. So for Mach number less than 0.3, this region incompressible flow, the variation in rho by rho 0 is less than 5%. So no that much effect. So that we can write this equation, density is a function of pressure and temperature. So if you differentiate with respect to 1 and 2, then we can have this. So here SROP is higher than, you cannot neglect SROP, but sensitivity of density with respect to temperature is dominant compared to SROP. So in incompressible flow, Mach number is less than 0.3. Density variation due to pressure change is very, very small, can be negligible. But in this case of microchannel, you cannot neglect, you have to consider incompressible flow. So now to study entire this study and how to applicable for different type of engineering application, we have formulated the problem. So how to formulate the problem, how to go for the research based on the earlier study of Nusselt number, history, friction factor, pressure drop, how to design this problem. So simply we consider one tube through which the flow taking place, and initially the flow is fully developed. This is the velocity pattern. We call it the fully developed flow. It means that maximum velocity at the center is almost double the mean velocity, um. So each of these is having mu velocity. This is the velocity vector, and at the center it is a parabolic entire shape. At the center it is almost double than the um. So this is the value. So this type of shape, it is called as fully developed temperature and velocity profile at the inlet. The flow is taking place in the downstream direction. So it is a fully developed means this flow is not going to change. During the entire length of the tube, microchannel, this remain unchanged, right? Means this velocities remain constant. So constant derivative is 0. So this flow profile is remain same, it is unchanged. So if you see the top portion, top view, this is circular, subjected to the constant heat flux from all the surfaces along with the diameter d. So that constant heat flux is written as Q double prime W, means heat flux at wall. So this entire length of the tube is projected with this heat flux. So this type of tube is immersed in the silicon substrate, and this silicon substrate is inside the radar, satellite, or micro or gas turbine. So this type of microchannel are inserted inside the silicon substrate, and then we have a technology to flow the coolant from this end. This will extract the heat from the peripheral surface. The property variation will be encountered, and entire heat will be flow in downstream direction, and that particular hot fluid is taken out, so that this entire PCB will remain temperature remain constant, and the life of this complete structure will get enhanced. It will not be deteriorated. So this is what the objective beyond designing the tube, and the boundary conditions. Now when the flow start taking place, what are the boundary conditions we have to put? We have to put boundary condition. I have written here one as inlet boundary condition. So wherein you can write this U at inlet, means axial velocity. This is called as axial velocity. This is called as radial velocity. There are two components because we are studying two-dimensional flow. So axial velocity at inlet for any value of r at 0. These are the two coordinates. R coordinate, Z coordinate. Z coordinate is 0. and R is varying. So U in R0 and temperature profile. So temperature profile also vary in R direction and 0 at this place. In this direction, temperature remains unchanged. So they are fully developed. So I have defined boundary condition at number 1. So inlet condition, which I read as U in T in, are fully developed. What is meant by fully developed? Derivation of this U profile. If I take this U profile in R and Z direction, this is R and Z, this fully developed profile, these remain unchanged in Z direction. This is the Z direction, this is the R direction. So del U by del Z. So this profile remain constant. So derivation of this constant is 0. Therefore, this profile remains unchanged as it is. But this is true when it is true when all property remain constant. There is no change in density, Cp value, conductivity, viscosity. So then and then this Rz profile will not change. This will remain constant and derivative of constant will be 0. But in fact, what happen is no density remain constant when heat flux is encountered. You know, when heat is added, density will change. It may be density of water. If it is water flowing inside, if it is air, density will change. Conductivity will change, viscosity will change. So this U will not be constant, and therefore this del U will have, this U has to vary. It will not be constant, and that is what this research is. But to start with initial understanding, we compare property variation with constant property. So let us understand what is constant property issue, and then we will start incorporating property variation one by one. Very first, we will start varying density. Then we will add conductivity variation. Then we will add viscosity. Then we will combine viscosity and density, density and Cp, and all four together. So this is possible in this virtual mode. This is possible in the simulation. Otherwise, in actual, you cannot study the special effect of density. What is the role of density? What is the role of K? If such type of coolant is used, maybe refrigerant, maybe air, maybe water, what is the effect of conductivity of water on the flow behavior? You cannot check. But simulation provides that facility. This is what advantage of this Fluent or Gambit is, or CFX is. Okay. So this is what I was talking on boundary condition 1. Now let us go for boundary condition 2. This is called as Newman boundary condition. So here we call it as a atmospheric pressure. Exit environment is atmospheric. So gauge pressure is almost 0. We are considering that gauge pressure is 0. So Newman boundary condition is applied on UVT, means derivation of U with respect to Z, derivation of V, derivation of T, that will be equal to 0. So that is atmospheric condition, that is Px is atmospheric, that is gauge pressure is 0. You know, it is a summation of atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. Now, third boundary condition is the wall boundary condition. We are only studying the half part because half part is exactly symmetric. So it is an axisymmetric condition. So we will put only 3 here, we will not put 3 here. Okay. So this is called as wall boundary condition, and because of this Fourier law of heat conduction, you can see the amount of heat flux which is penetrating from this wall inside this fluid. It is because of radial conduction, and that is why if you apply Fourier law of heat conduction, that is K gradient in temperature del T by del R at wall. So this is what the Fourier conduction for constant area. If I write K del T by del R at wall, that will be equals to what amount of heat you are supplying, that is Q double prime W. So that will be constant. So here U at W wall, V at wall, that will be 0 in this condition. And the fourth boundary condition, which we refer as the axisymmetric boundary condition. So we have to apply boundary conditions at the axis. So we called R is equals to 0. At this R is equals to 0, symmetric boundary conditions are applied. And here radial velocity is 0. Here radial velocity is 0. Means gradients of U gradients of P and gradients of T, that is del U by del R, del T by del R, del P by del R, gradients of these three, that will be almost zero due to symmetry, right? So hence we have equated this to zero. And the boundary conditions and the value for this boundary condition, that is axisymmetric, we have chosen that what is the value of UM, which is entering at the site in, is, let us say, one constant value. That constant value is taken from the previous literature as 20 meter per second. And T0 at in, we have considered 273 Kelvin, means 0 degree temperature. So this is what we have formulated the problem. Now we have to mesh the geometry, we have to export the geometry in the Fluent, and we have to go for pre-processing, post-processing, and the result analysis. So we have started application of this CFD. Okay, so this is what the problem definition, problem we have formulated. Now same problem we have formulated with entrance effect. Here we have written that it's a problem formulation but with the entrance effect. So what is the difference? Except at inlet, everything remains same. It is a fully developed profile at the end, unlike the previous geometry where Umax is equals to 2 times Um, and over the diameter D, entire surface is subjected to constant heat flux. You can see the red color Q double prime W. You can see fully developed temperature and velocity profile at exit. Only thing is, instead of fully developed profile, the profile is a flat. That is called as uniform temperature and velocity profile at inlet. So each and every vector you can see it is equal. It is not a fully developed. Why? Because when flow is taking place through any pipe, it is not possible that immediately it will get fully developed. There will be a boundary layer formation inside the tube. If the flow is taking place over the surface, there will be a boundary layer formation. Once that boundary layer merge together and coincide at certain point, thereafter it will be a fully developed. So that length we call it as the entrance length. So we have to study what happens during the entrance length, right? So that entrance length is crucial to study the property variation, and that is what the problem formulation for this entrance length. So then what are the boundary condition applied here? Number one, inlet boundary condition. Here it will not be fully developed. We have written there del U by del R, del U by del Z is 0. But here you cannot write because that profile is not constant. Because of this velocity boundary layer, you can see the fluid is sticking to the surface. But as soon as the flow takes place, it will try to start this velocity boundary layer, virtual boundary layer. You can see it is growing and it will coincide at certain point. And the flow particle will get accelerated and it will be maximum velocity at this point. So velocity maximum is double to that original velocity Um. Wherein velocity here Um is 0, here Um is 0. So this is what the parabolic profile take a shape from this flat profile over the length of entrance length. So what is thickness of this boundary layer? What is this entrance length? What is the effect of the property variation during the viscous region? So this is a viscous region, this is the inviscid region. So entire study can be done during this post-processing in the CFD. So this is what the value of U profile, value of temperature profile we have kept inside this micro tube channel and called as a inlet boundary condition for velocity and temperature profile. So you can see velocity varying in R direction. You can see R is varying, but the Z, we are defining velocity profile at this point inlet. So Z is not varying. It is a constant 0. Similarly, T R 0, and we are putting like TR radial temperature profile. So only temperature varying in the direction, and that temperature we have kept constant 0 degree centigrade. That is 273 Kelvin. And rest 3 conditions, you can see rest 3 conditions are exactly same. There is no change, because once it starts flowing and once is formed the entrance length and fully developed flow, so no need to change my outlet boundary condition, wall boundary condition, axisymmetric boundary condition. So other than this one, everything remains same. So this is what the problem formulation with entrance length and without entrance length. Okay. Now, how to go ahead with this numerical simulation? So we have studied this grid. I will show you what is this grid. 400 grids in axial direction, 100 grids in radial direction. I will just click on this. You can see the screen. Okay, so you can observe close spacing near the wall. You can see here a close spacing of the grids near the wall and close spacing near the inlet. So this is the portion, half portion of the tube, and it is entirely mesh, and these are the control columns, small control columns. The flow is taking place in this direction, right? So there is a close spacing. If you go toward the end of channel, then this spacing will increases, vertical lines, this spacing will increases. So what is called as grid aspect ratio? Grid aspect ratio means this distance, you can see the cursor, this distance divided by this distance, that is x divided by y, it is more than 1 because this is larger compared to this. So this divided by earlier is more than 1. So grid spacing is 1 point something, 1.01. Similarly, here this upper divided by lower. So upper divided by lower means less than 1 because you are going closer toward the end of channel, toward the wall. This is the wall. And here you are going toward the end of channel. So this is what called as a grid spacing, grid successive ratio. So axially, the ratio is 1.02 and in radial direction, it is less than 0.1, 0.98. So this is a grid successive ratio you have to put. And number of grid points are 400 in axial direction, 100 in radial direction. The grid aspect ratio, that is the length of channel divided by diameter of the micro tube, that L by D is almost 100. Now, whatever we have taken this grid points, 100, 400, whether that is true or whether that is sufficient to generate the geometry, to tabulate the result and to validate the result. So we have to check the grid independency, whether my grid is perfect. So whether I should go for the research or I should change my geometry and the grid and meshing. So I have to go for the validation. If I show in my journal paper that the geometry is validated, the grid is good enough to produce the result, then and then my journal paper editor will allow to go ahead and that result will be accepted. If you do not check and validate your grid, they will assume that this is not foolproof and more studies required. They will put comment and they will reject the paper. So grid independency and validation in any journal paper, in any research is very, very important. So here for this grid, we had a grid independency, means we have taken 400 by 100, we have taken 500 by 125, this, so that in all these three cases, delta Z by delta R. Delta Z means consecutive distance between two Z spacing, consecutive distance between two R spacing. So that delta Z, grid aspect ratio, that delta Z by delta R in all these three cases is 50. So such cases only you can take. Either you take delta Z by delta R 100 or 50 or 25. So we have taken 50. So for 50, these are the grid spacing. Or for delta Z by delta R 25, these are the grid points. For delta Z by delta R 50, these are the grid points. So we have to check the result for all types of grid spacings and grid aspect ratio. And when you start your simulation and check what is the Nusselt number, you know, whenever flow is taking place through the micro tube of constant diameter with constant heat flux, the Nusselt number in textbook, we found that if it is circular geometry, Nusselt number is 4.33, 4.36. So Nusselt number for constant property, we are checking, we are validating with constant property. We are not varying any property. So Nusselt number for constant property is 4.36. If you find 4.36 value of Nusselt number in your simulation after post-processing, then your grid which you have chosen is correct. Otherwise, something is wrong. So you have to choose the grid in such a way that it should validate with your answer of NUCT is equals to 4.36, or other way, you know, the product of friction factor into Reynolds number at constant pressure is equals to 64. So if this Postulus number for constant property, if you are getting value as 64, then your entire structure grid which you have chosen is correct. Now in this case, we have chosen both, and we found that this model, this numerical results which we got after post processing, the accuracy of this result was lying within 0.1%, and that is why we went ahead. So here assumption what we understand is the heat flux, that is the product of density, mean density, and velocity, mean velocity. The product of mass, this is mass flux, product is constant. So we have to choose some constant platform. You cannot change all parameter at a second. We have to see the effect of property variation one by one. So this is possible in this simulation, but with some assumptions. We have to keep this factor as constant. So mass plus keeping as constant, and T temperature, mean temperature at in, that will remain same for all cases. For all cases means when you consider property variation, maybe density, maybe conductivity, maybe combined density and conductivity. So there are many possible combinations. So you have to go this way. So this L by D grid aspect ratio, that is L by D is equals to 100, is selected in order to ensure that highest Knudsen number and M in the domain is less than 0.001 and 0.3. And the rate of change of dimensionless profile of the transport variable, that is U, V, and T along the flow, that are equated to 0. So this computational domain then is mapped with the structure and refined grids. So initially we kept this equal. So this is same, this is same. You can see the closer spacing at the inlet, closer spacing toward the wall. So initially what we started is we keep these equal, 1:1, but that didn't work, right? So to simulate such problem, computational domain is mapped with the structured and refined grid. So that was the refined grid, and this refined grid ensure high density and finer grid in the vicinity of the wall and inlet region where high gradient exists. You can see the high gradients exist near the wall and at the inlet because it captures the physical mechanism. Velocity profile changes at inlet. High gradient density changes take place at the wall because of high temperature. So this type of mechanism is captured at these two locations. Therefore, density gradient is very, very high at the inlet and at the wall. This is the reason. So the gradient mesh is used to order to capture the abrupt change in the flow and temperature field in both the direction, that is radial direction and the axial direction. So that mesh is approximate 40,000 cells, that is 400 in axial, 100 in radial direction, with grid successive ratio of 1.02 in axial direction and 0.98 in radial direction. So that fluid modeling is within the continuum region, that is Knudsen number is almost 0.001, and fully developed flow is assumed with different thermal and flow boundary conditions. And now inlet boundary condition that reveals the role of property variation. You can see we can study the flow behavior when flow started taking place at the inlet with flat profile or velocity, fully developed velocity profile, that is parabolic. So we have to consider four types of equation. One is continuity equation that will take care of the pressure changes, temperature changes. We have to check the momentum equation that will take care of the velocity contours, velocity changes, and moreover, when you apply Q double prime, that is heat flux, so this temperature equation, energy equation, you cannot ignore. So you have to incorporate this energy equation because you are adding this temperature factor here, right? So this is the material derivative of temperature is equals to conduction terms plus viscous dissipation term. So here also this is a pressure term, pressure gradient in Z direction, pressure gradient in R direction, radial direction, and this is a viscous dissipation. Okay. So you cannot neglect these small changes which is occur by this viscous dissipation and axial conduction. So axial conduction is due to uh, K variation in the axial direction, and this momentum equation, momentum transport occurs, changes in the velocity profile. This can be occurred. This can be studied using this momentum equation, right? So these equations are written in vector analysis using the constant property. Here, no property is going to change. All property are constant. You can see density is constant, viscosity is constant, conductivity constant, all the values are constant. But when you incorporate property variation, suddenly you say density is varying, viscosity is varying. All of a sudden, all properties are varying. So your entire equation will go on change. And if you try to solve numerically, you can find this type of equation. So these are the equations you can see here with the property variation. So here you can see because of density variation, this density factor is different, this density factor is different, this rho del u by del z, this is called as a velocity gradient in z direction, density gradient in z direction. So you can find number of gradients in a flow behavior, and because of these gradients you can plot velocity vector. Because of these gradients in temperature you can plot these temperature vectors. So this is what the flow mechanism Gauss equations which you have to solve when the flow is taking place inside the microtube channel. So these are what the Gauss equation with the property variation. And here one more thing is written, the average value. What are the average value we consider? That is mean velocity of the velocity. It is taken overall integral surface of this rho into u profile over the surface area dA. Similarly, we have to take this temperature profile as this. So velocity profile and temperature profile, we have to incorporate this in our coding. So we have to write a code, and sometimes you have to write a UDF, user defined function. So you have to keep this UMTM in the user defined function, right? So in non-dimensionalization, we can go for this pi group, pi SROT in, pi S viscosity in, pi sensitivity of conductivity in, and you can solve in terms of pi the value. This is a non-dimensional grouping. Just a minute, let me take a glass of water.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you okay, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Any disturbances?
No, sir. No disturbances there.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good. So these are the non-dimensional temperature and the static pressure, which is given by pi group, theta value, pressure. You can see here Cp, K, rho. These are all the non-dimensional values, wherein this subscript m refers to the mean value of the parameter. M means mean value of the parameter. Everywhere m is written, that is the mean value of the parameter. So you can see this variable in the row 1 and 3. These are the dimensional value, and the value in the 2 and 4, these are the non-dimensional value. So the Reynolds number and Peclet number, these are the inlet Reynolds number and Peclet number, and the Brinkman number. So you can see here BR value, Brinkman number coming out from this pi group. That is based on the ratio of momentum transfer to the heat transfer. So this way you can write this non-dimensional equation in terms of pi group. So higher value of pi parameter that indicates the predominant influence of property variation due to property variation of Cp, K, nu, and density. Now let us try to understand what is conventional side channel and what is micro channel. Why we are going for micro channel? What are the different aspects that we can see in the micro channel, right? In convention channel, what I have elaborated you, the flow taking place in municipal pipeline, water channel, in domestic bathroom, all this tap and all, and in micro type of geometry. So earlier in this conventional, we have only two types of mechanism, that is axial convection. It is being carried out axially if it flow from this end to this end, and whatever heat is being conducted, that is what because of radial convection. Only these two mechanisms we used to study in conventional size channel. But now you are reducing this conventional to the micro size. So because of reducing micro, more mechanism involved because of increasing the surface area and steep temperature gradient. Because of this, temperature increases inside the surface and gradients are very steep. So two more mechanism other than this we can see here. So which two mechanism? So one is called as radial convection and one is called as axial conduction. So because of these two, we have to go for these scaling effects. So introduction of such type of micro behavior changes, that is called as scaling effect. That scaling effect we have divided into rarefaction and non-rarefaction. So property variation which we are studying now, it is one type of non-rarefaction scaling effect, right? So if you just see what are the energy equation in cylindrical coordinate with these two parameters, that is axial conduction and radial conduction, you can see these two values are added here with property variation. And simple equation, energy equation in cylindrical coordinate is written like this, but with property variation, so these parameters become 0 and entire equation reduces to this one in conventional. But now with property variation, this equation you cannot write like this. This is the energy equation for constant property, because in cylindrical coordinate all these parameters becoming 0, so we reduce to this equation. But for property variation, because of this axial conduction, radial conduction, these new scaling effects comes in picture and we have to write this equation like this, right? Now we have to incorporate the variation in property. So let us start with this Cp value, how to incorporate variation of Cp, because you are starting simulation. So we have to command, we have to put a command, we have to write a code, we have to write a UDF, user defined function, so that it should calculate changes in Cp with respect to temperature. So here we have to write equation for Cp change with respect to temperature, because the flow is taking place in the microchannel from one end to other, wherein temperature go on increasing for the fluid for constant wall heat flux. So this is called as fourth order polynomial fit for Cp value. It is a fourth order fit for the temperature range of 273 to 2100 Kelvin. We cannot go beyond this value because dissociation of air molecule will take place, and then we cannot capture the change. So up to dissociation temperature, we can take a temperature range for the air. So this is a thermophysical property against temperature. So up to 500 temperature, we have no changes in the air property. There is no effect of Cp. But once you cross this Cp, once you cross this 500 degrees centigrade, Cp value go varying with respect to temperature. You can see the change in Cp. It is asymptotic with respect to the temperature. So if you see the enlarged value, you can see the changes. So this is what the polynomial fit for Cp, that is put by the least square method. This is plot with the least square method, right? So the enlarged portion is shown of this area, means below 500. You can see there is no as such change. But later on, these two overlap, but then it is widely increasing. Okay. So this is what the polynomial fit for Cp. So we have this temperature variation of K with respect to this equation, and southern equation is viscosity dependent temperature put by this equation, Sutherland law. Okay. Now, what is the effect of this property variation? This is what more important is. Now you can see in a micro tube, what happens is heat is being conducted radially and acquired thermal energy is carried away through the axial convection. Because of the axial convection, thermal energy is being carried out and heat is conducted radially inward. That is Q double prime W. So because of this, fully developed flow that will undergo a force development in the vicinity of the inlet. So at the inlet, there will be change in the parabolic profile. So that profile will suddenly change because of high density, high temperature density, high steep temperature gradients. So you can see because of that steep temperature gradient, suddenly a new component, that is radial velocity, mean radial velocity, is going to change. You can see at the inlet means 0. See, this Z by D is 0. This is non-dimensional length of the microchannel. So this is the inlet, this is the mid part, and this is the end of channel. So Z by D is a non-dimensional number. Z by D 0 means inlet. Z by D 50 means in between. Z by D 100 means end of the channel. Okay. So similarly, this is the radial velocity, mean radial velocity. This is a small 0.01 and this is the maximum. So this radial velocity will develop in the vicinity of the inlet because of the reason is undevelopment flow. Parabolic profile will start to undevelop, and because of this VM will try to develop. And this VM, you can see this VM is highest in case of the combination of these three, rho, Cp and K. So there are 4 cases. Only density is varying, density and Cp is varying. Third is rho, Cp and K is varying. And fourth, all properties are varying. So we have 4 different types of cases. So let us check in which case we have a maximum radially outward velocity. So if this velocity is higher, it means it opposes the convection. It will degrade the convection because radial velocity will try to develop more in opposition of the axial velocity because it satisfies the continuity equation, first equation, continuity equation that we solved. So we try to develop this radial velocity to degrade the convection, right? But on the other hand, what happens is because of this increasing radial velocity, flow and development will start take place and parabolic profile will becomes undeveloped and flattening of the profile will take place. And because of this flattening of the profile, more heat flux at the wall will carry away more convection and thus Nusselt number will increase. So this is the reason why Nusselt number increases because of this all property variation or only rho Cp or rho K. So you can see here 4 different cases. So Vm is highest in third case and it is the lowest in this fourth case. Okay. Now if you see Vm, it is calculated with respect to 2 by r square over the surface area 0 to r over this radius VR profile into RdR. Okay. If you try to increase the heat flux Q double prime W, if you try to increase from 5 to 10 to 15, so you find that this Vm also increases. It is proportional. So this particular study has been carried out for UM in 20 meter per second and heat flux is equal to 5 watt per centimeter square. So this is one observation that Vm increases with respect to Q double prime, increasing this. Now what earlier I told that flattening of the profile takes place. So that is called as, you can see, this is one complete profile, parabolic profile, only half portion I am showing, right? So this is the r by r, this is the radius. R by r 0 means at the center, r by r 0.5 means at the mean way, and at r by r 1 means at the wall. So this is what the at the wall is. So you can see there is no property variation. So all this profile, they are meeting at a point, at a wall. So it is a complete parabolic profile. But if you incorporate property variation, you can see density variation, you can see this brown rho plus nu, you can see all rho plus nu rho. So with this colored, you can see there is a change in this profile and it is a flattening, near to the wall. So R by R is 1 means near the wall there is a flattening. So if there is a flattening, you can see how much flattening is there. Because of this flattening profile, more amount of heat flux is going from the wall and more is the convection. More amount of mass flux is going, so more amount of heat is carried out near the wall because of steep temperature gradient and because of this flattening of the profile. And that is why heat transfer increases. So this is what the impact of property variation. You can see here how it happens. You can see here this is the flattening profile. This is called the flattening of the profile. This dotted is a parabolic with constant property variation. You can see with property variation how the flattening is taking place. And because of more heat flux at the wall, more amount of heat is being carried out, more amount of heat is carrying out at the wall. So in case of liquid and in case of gas, what happen is, so this viscosity, mean viscosity is greater than viscosity at the wall. But this is not case with the gas. Here, viscosity of the wall is higher than viscosity of the fluid. Therefore, what happen is, velocity gradient, that is for constant property at wall, divided by this gradient for constant property is always higher than 1. But this is not the case with gas. Therefore, in case of gas, we found that there is a sharpening of U profile, and here in case of liquid, we found flattening of the U profile. So this is what the mechanism is. And here, sometimes you find sharpening of the profile, sometimes you can find this is a flattening of the profile. When the profile is get flattened, like this, flattening of the profile, this is a flattening, more amount of heat flux is being carried out at the wall, and more is the heat convection, more is the heat transfer coefficient, more is the Nusselt number. Okay, now let us see the effect of what is effect of CP. Individually, CP effect is carried out. How this CP effect is carried out? We have studied a combination of rho, CP and K, and then we studied rho and K. So that effect is subtracted from 3 minus 2, and then CP effect is calculated. So we can found that this is the variation of rho with respect to T, only rho T and then rho T and CPT we have studied. This is the bulk mean temperature, continuous line, and this is wall temperature. You can see in both the cases, either wall temperature, this is the wall temperature, and bulk mean temperature, both reduces because of addition of CP. If you add CP in rho, you can see the line is lowering than original one in both the cases. First observation. Second observation, always wall temperature is higher than bulk mean temperature because wall is directly getting heated from the outer heat, because in radar or in all type of space application, that entire assembly is get overheated by the external agency, external heat flux, and that heat flux you want to carry out. So this is subjected directly. That is what this wall temperature is get heated first, and therefore this TW is higher. So this is the second observation. Okay. Third observation, asymptotically this will increase. TM also increases, TW is also increases. TW also increases, TM also increases uniformly, and the difference is almost same. This is the third observation. And the difference in TW minus TM, this TW and TM, in case of rho CP, this difference remains same. So these are the 4 observations. So this bulk mean temperature, this TW, TM, this bulk mean temperature is to be calculated with this. Right? This is called the enthalpy average of the heat balance. This is calculated based on the enthalpy average. And here Nusselt number is calculated as HD by K. So using this formula, which we derived earlier, this is a real contribution. So we put all this difference in TW minus TM, that is this TW minus TM for density variation and TW minus TM for density plus CP variation. We put this value. Then we found that the TW minus TM, this will change, which will vary this Nusselt number for all constant Q double prime, D and Km. If Km is also varying, then entire Nusselt number will also go on varying, and that is one of the another research. Okay, so that is extended furthermore. So this type of study is carried out because of this density variation plus Cp variation for value of 20 and 7.5 heat flux. Okay. Now another one is what is the Cp variation on the temperature field. So that was a bulk mean temperature and wall temperature. So here we have to see what is the Cp variation on the temperature field. So Tw minus Tm, you can see Tw minus Tm is almost same and it go on reducing. So because of this Tw minus Tm go on reducing, Cpm, mean value of Cpm go on increasing. And that is why this Q double prime W and Cp, this will go on changing because of Tw minus Tm. And because of this increase in CPM, the value of Nusselt number or value of heat transfer coefficient, all these three will promote the convection. Now effect of Cp variation on the temperature field. You can see density change at the wall. You can see this is the wall. Here density is the lowest. At the center density is the highest. But density profile is inverted U type. This is called as the inverted U type. And this inverted U type means less effective Nusselt number. So because of incorporation of this rho and Cp, we have less Nusselt number. And then effect of property variation on the temperature field. You can see constant property variation. You can see density variation. Density is coupled with Cp. Density is coupled with Cp and K, and all property variation together, right? So these are the wall temperatures and these are the bulk mean temperature, enthalpy balance bulk mean temperature based on the enthalpy balance. So this is complete tabulated on the density variation. This is complete numerical simulation for this type of profile, right? Where bulk mean temperature is calculated by this equation. Heat flux is written as this one, Kw temperature gradient at the wall. And you can see here for constant mass flux and Q double prime W heat flux increase in CPM. If the value of CPM increases, that is Tw minus Tm decreases, means CPM increases, your Nusselt number go on increasing. Okay. So overall, if you see the entire property variation incorporation, what is the changes in Tw minus Tm? So you can see Tw minus Tm go on decreasing, means Nusselt number increases. So it is more in case of rho Cp and K, rho Cp and all property variation compared to rho Cp and rho T. So compared to these two, these three is having more inclination toward the increase in Nusselt number. So Tw minus Tm go on reducing, and it means that it promotes the convection. So this is the effect of property variation on the temperature field. So it means that what is the conclusion is density and viscosity, they are having an indirect effect, whereas Cp and conductivity, they are having a direct effect. Means they changes the temperature profile. You can see here this is a U shape now. Okay, so this density and this temperature, static temperature, this density go on decreasing and static temperature go on increasing towards the wall. This is the wall. This is the end of the wall. R by R1 means wall. So R by R is equals to 1 is wall. So temperature is highest at the wall. But it is highest for whom? For this density. This is lowest for whom? So this is for rho Cp and K. So it means that effect of property variation. So we have categories direct effect and indirect effect. So direct effect means the effect because of density and viscosity. Indirect effect. And direct effect is for whom? Cp and conductivity. Because they affect on temperature field, whereas density and viscosity, they affect on velocity profile. So that is the indirect effect. And why this is happening? Because of this more axial conduction effect that is calculated based on the enthalpy balance equation for Cp and K. Because axial conduction is because of temperature dependent property, and it comes under the direct effect because of Cp and K variation. We have written enthalpy balance equation for this control volume. So amount of heat flux entering, amount of heat flux leaving for this delta Z region for Tm in and Tm outgoing. So you can see this is very effective for this Cp variation and Cp and K variation. So this is what one of the rarefaction effect which we come to know at a microfluidics. So we cannot avoid this axial conduction effect. This is very, very important. So what is the role of CP in axial conduction? That has been studied. And what is the role of CP and K in radial conduction? That is another part. So overall then what is this axial temperature gradient, how it affect on the conduction number, and how it overall increases Nusselt number. With the help of this, we came to the end of this research by plotting this Nusselt number variation. At the last, Nusselt number, the combination of direct property, direct effect, indirect effect. Okay, for all means we have compared this constant property solution with row variation, with this two, with this three, with this all together one. And using this Nusselt number equation, that is conduction at the wall and average conduction. So overall, this Nusselt number was written in this way, that is Q double prime D divided by difference and Km. So you can see here fluid property percentage change in NUCP, and NUCP divided by NU exit means Nusselt number at the exit. So you can see there is a maximum change. We have obtained 15% heat transfer increases because of this study of variation in property. So 15% cooling method we can provide with the help of this property variation study. So it is very economical if you apply to the gas turbine cooling. It is also economical if you go for application in the difference factor and all. So this property variation effects you cannot ignore when you come down to the microfluidics. So this is the role of microchannel cooling technology or application of the CFD in microfluidics. So without CFD, it is not possible to come to this small level and to diagnose such type of effect. So this is what the Nusselt number study, Nusselt number variation along the flow, what it shows deviation from the constant property value. There are many study variation of Nusselt number due to rho, CP, nu, and K with entrance effect. This is what the entrance effect, so that I will not incorporate here. Another study is what is the inference of friction factor and pressure drop. Because if you see at the peripheral Q double prime W, so shear stress is maximum at both the end. But if you go to the center, shear stress is almost zero. So we are not going to check this friction factor pressure drop study. And thus way, I will skip all the study, and then I will come to this slide. We have one more study, liquid flow. So gas flow we have studied earlier, compressible flow. We are not going for the incompressible liquid flow. So this I am skipping. And one more study, that is great problem. That is another one. So this way we can conclude the thermophysical property, these four, they have effect on velocity field, they have effect on temperature field in respect of direct effect and indirect effect. That already we have discussed. And this thing, how that microchannel differ from this we have discussed. So this is in conclusion I would like to see. So I think my time is over. It's 4 o'clock, the time given by coordinator. I tried to cover up the things. Thank you very much. If you have any question, I am here to hear you. I will try to answer. So thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You nicely presented your topic. Any participant having any kind of question? Yes, any participant having any query or question, he or she can ask.
Sir, I have question.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Sir, in before slide you shown that simulation of sports and buildings, that one.
Yes.
Which software that exactly the same simulation is giving?
CFX and Fluent.
NC-CFX.
NC-CFX and Fluent. CFX is different. ANSYS is different. So ANSYS we have used.
And sir, you mentioned there that in FSI, fluid structure interaction,
Yes. Yes.
that is the part of civil engineering.
Yes,
But in FSI, sir, the maximum problem is to be solved in biomedical engineering. for blood vessels and heart pump. These things that in FSI is used.
Yeah. See, Nirmal Kumar,
Yes, sir.
this was a flavor, just to take your interest. These are the examples which I tried to show. Let me come to this slide. Just a minute. See, uh, whenever we are going to study such type of problem, so how you study any effect, that is more important. It is equally applicable for automobile. It is equally applicable for biomedical. It is equally applicable for chemical. So how you utilizes for the diagnosis of the flow behavior and temperature controls, velocity controls, that depends on your interest and your necessity. CFX and Fluent, there are many options available inside the software. If you try to open it in chemical, biomedical, automobile, you can find number of opportunities. So equally it is applicable for biomedical or FSI, fluid structure interaction. The only thing was how CFX or Fluent is applicable to relocate this building, to design this building, how far this building should be, so how the force is, how the circulation is, how the vortex shedding is, how the vortex can be generated. If there is too much high wind flow, how this building will be affected. So that entire structure, entire force, entire airflow can be studied with the help of CFX, with the help of ANSYS. That was one application I was trying to put. Rest is your civil engineering. Only flow behavior you can study with the help of this CFX or ANSYS. Is it
And
fine? Yes, Nirmal Kumar.
yes, sir. Sir, but in sir, it is same, but the same option is in Astar CCM Plus also.
Yes. But see, the flow behavior, pressure drop, heat transfer, friction factor, Nusselt number variation, that is more detailed, modeled in Fluent. You can write your own code. In Console, you have another software called Console,
Yes,
Germany based, and in Bangalore they have their offices. They are also producing this Console, going to every colleges
and
for
it's multi multi
selling. Yeah,
multi physics flow.
multi-phase flow. So
Yes.
now day by day, everyone is coming up with a variety of model. ISRO, they have their own software. Nastran, they have their own software. NASA, US based. But ISRO, they have their own software. So they do not insist any government colleges to use this Nastran, ANSYS, Fluent and all. They have their own software. So in ISRO, when they study flow behavior in missile, in radar, wherever, they do not use Nastran and ANSYS and all. They use their own software.
And sir, the code is written in Fortran only, or
C++. Basically, earlier people used to write in Fortran. So professor at various reputed institute, they are very used to Fortran right in the beginning. So they continued with Fortran. But in this generation, since we had interaction of C++, C right in beginning of the BTech classes, so we then started writing in C++.
sir, I
We,
attended one workshop
okay.
before only. One professor from IIT Kanpur, Muralidharan sir,
Yes.
he said that now also the Fortran is used maximum in all industries, and also the code is written in MATLAB.
Yeah, he's true. Muralidharan Biswas, you might have gone through his book, Fluid Mechanics, very popular book and very good book, fantastic. So he has mentioned in the book also that he used Fortran, and nowadays also all IIT professors, nearly more than 50%, they are using Fortran. So I mean, it depends on your adaptability. MATLAB is common, everybody is using, but C++ or Fortran, that is your choice, which is comfort for you. You have a choice, you can use.
And sir, I have one more question, sir, regarding MPI. Sir, you in MPI, sir, I have doubt, sir. Can you
What is
explain
MPI?
some? In CFD, one MPI is there, na?
MPI, but you can elaborate MPI. I may be knowing, but I know what is MPI. Short name I do not know. Is it regarding to the meshing or grid generation or governing equations we are using or any post-processing method? I have not heard this MPI.
Sir, MPI is actually it is used in FSI only, means both the combination and they are solving the problem, complex problem they are solving.
No, then I may not be knowing this technology. I'm not aware of this. I have focused more on fluid flow, heat transfer characteristics. So FSI is only application I try to explain. I do not know anything detail about this fluid structure interaction, what type of drag forces, how the high-rise building should be developed, and how allocation is, how the space shifting. I do not know anything about it. So I have not gone in that research and civil and fluid flow interaction. So might be I am not aware of this.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Any other participant having any question? Yes, anyone?
So I think Mahasi sir, we are in time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
finish in time.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much, sir. On behalf of Mechanical Engineering Department of A.D.
Thank
Patel Institute of Technology, we are really grateful to you for delivering such a wonderful talk. You have covered all the applications related to space engineering of CFD very nicely, sir. So thank you very much, and thank you for giving your time to us. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can close the
Yes,
session.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
So thank you very much. Participants, thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you all the participants as well for joining today's sessions. Our next session will start tomorrow 10 a.m. onwards. Right? It is Dr. Sameen's session, who is professor from IIT Madras. Right? So see you all in tomorrow's morning session. Thank you, everyone.